I live a carefully constructed lie. To the outside world, I am Gerald Thompson, an ordinary IT consultant living in suburban Virginia with my beautiful wife, Amanda. For 7 years, we have built what appeared to be a perfect marriage. But beneath this mundane facade lies a different reality. I am a trained Marine sniper with 87 confirmed kills and a current deep cover CIA operative. 3 months ago, I discovered my wife was cheating. Last night, I overheard a midnight call that changed everything. Now I have 24 hours before they try to kill me. Let me know where you are watching from, and hit that subscribe button if you want to hear how a trained operative handles the ultimate betrayal. Trust me, what happened next will shock you. Growing up in rural Montana with my father, a retired Army Ranger, I learned to shoot before I could ride a bike. By 12, I could hit a pine cone at 500 yards. My exceptional marksmanship skills caught the attention of shooting competition scouts, and I dominated junior tournaments throughout my teens. When I turned 18 in 2008, the Marine Corps recruiters practically salivated when they saw my shooting scores. They fast-tracked me through basic training and immediately recommended me for Scout Sniper School. Those 26 weeks at Quantico were brutal. I still remember crawling through mud for days, memorizing complex ballistics tables, and learning to become invisible in any terrain. I graduated top of my class with skills that would define my future. Between 2009 and 2011, I completed 3 tours in Afghanistan. My first confirmed kill came during an operation in Helmand province. A Taliban commander had been coordinating attacks on coalition forces. Through my scope, I watched him for 6 hours before taking the shot from over a mile away. By my third tour, my reputation had spread. My unit called me Ghost because targets never knew I was there until it was too late. In 2012, a man in an unmarked SUV approached me at the base. He introduced himself only as Smith and offered me a position with the agency. My skill set was valuable, he said, for operations too sensitive for military involvement. I accepted, and after another round of specialized training, I began working for the CIA. For 5 years, I traveled the world eliminating threats to national security: Sudan, Yemen, Russia, Iran. I became the solution to problems no one wanted to acknowledge. The toll was heavy, both physically and mentally. I lived in constant isolation, moving between safe houses, never forming attachments. Then in 2016, during a rare stateside assignment in Washington, D.C., I met Amanda. She worked as a pharmaceutical sales representative, attractive, intelligent, and completely detached from my world. She believed I was an IT security consultant who traveled frequently for work. For the first time in years, I felt human connection. Within 6 months, we were married. I requested a transition to intelligence analysis, a desk job that would allow me to maintain my cover while still serving the agency. They agreed, though I was occasionally called for special operations when my unique skill set was required. I created an entire civilian identity, complete with a legitimate job at a CIA front company specializing in corporate IT security. Our home in suburban Virginia became my sanctuary, a place where Gerald the husband existed without the shadow of my past. Our marriage was everything I never knew I wanted. Amanda filled our home with warmth and normalcy. We hosted neighborhood barbecues, joined a local tennis club, and planned for children. I compartmentalized my 2 lives perfectly. During the day, I analyzed intelligence reports and occasionally traveled for supposed IT consultations that were actually covert operations. At night, I was just a husband who loved his wife. The first signs appeared about 10 months ago. Amanda began working later hours. Her pharmaceutical company had launched a new product, she explained. There were dinners with clients I never met, conferences that ran late. I wanted to trust her. After all, suspicion was my professional default, not how I wanted to live my personal life. Then came new friends she never introduced me to, calls that she took in another room, a subtle change in her scent when she came home late. As much as I tried to suppress it, my operational instincts kicked in. Something was wrong. The man who had survived by noticing minute details could not ignore the signs. My wife was hiding something. I struggled against my training. This was Amanda, not a target. But after she claimed to be at a conference in Chicago while her location data showed her at a hotel across town, I made the decision. I would apply my professional skills to my personal life just once to confirm or dispel my suspicions. I never imagined where that decision would lead. The surveillance began subtly. A small GPS tracker in her car, recovery software on her phone, microscopic cameras in common areas of our house. For someone with my resources, gathering intelligence on my own wife was disturbingly simple. I told myself I would stop once I confirmed she was faithful, that this invasion of privacy was just a momentary weakness. The truth arrived on a Tuesday afternoon 3 months ago. Amanda had called in sick to work, but left the house dressed impeccably. I tracked her to the Jefferson Hotel downtown. Through the hotel security feed I had accessed, I watched her enter a suite on the 12th floor. The man who opened the door was tall, blonde, with the physique of someone who spent serious time in the gym. They embraced immediately with the familiarity of established lovers. His name, I would later learn, was Viktor Petrov. My initial background check revealed a successful import-export business focusing on Eastern European goods. But deeper digging uncovered connections to the Baranov Syndicate, a Russian organized crime group specializing in weapons trafficking and contract killings. This was not just an affair. This was potentially a security breach. My training dictated immediate action. Report the compromise. Eliminate the threat. But my emotions as a husband paralyzed me. I loved Amanda. Despite her betrayal, I needed to understand why. Was she being manipulated, coerced? Or was she a willing participant in whatever was happening? I made the decision to monitor rather than confront. For 3 months, I documented their meetings. Twice weekly at various hotels. Phone calls at specific times when Amanda believed I was preoccupied. I planted listening devices and gathered hours of conversations. Most were mundane, the typical exchanges of lovers. But occasionally they discussed unusual topics. Russian shipping manifests. Building security protocols. Names of individuals I recognized from classified briefings. The pieces began forming a disturbing picture. The Baranov Syndicate had targeted me not for my CIA connection, which they seemed unaware of, but because of an operation I had conducted in 2015. I had eliminated Mikhail Baranov, the original leader of the syndicate, in a sanctioned hit in Istanbul. His brother Dmitry had taken control and spent years searching for the person responsible. Somehow they had traced it back to me. Amanda was not just sleeping with Viktor, she was helping them get close to me. Whether she knew their ultimate goal remained unclear until last night. I had installed a sound-activated recorder in our guest bedroom where Amanda often took late calls. At 2:13 in the morning it activated. Her voice was different when she spoke to him. Harder, more confident. Gone was the warm tone she used with me. I will never forget her words. "Baby, this idiot does not suspect a thing. Send your hit team in tomorrow. Make it look like a robbery gone wrong." Viktor responded with clinical precision. 10 men will arrive at approximately 9 p.m. You will disable the security system and ensure the bedroom door remains unlocked. Once confirmed, vacate the premises. We will handle the rest. I sat in my home office headphones on, listening to my wife casually discuss my murder with her lover. 7 years of marriage reduced to this cold calculation. The emotional devastation was immediate but brief. Years of operational training kicked in. I had 24 hours to prepare for 10 trained killers and a wife who wanted me dead. My first instinct was to call my handler at the agency. Protocol demanded it, but something stopped me. Trust no one. The most fundamental rule of survival. If the Baranov Syndicate had compromised my identity, there could be other leaks. This had to be handled personally. I watched Amanda sleep beside me that morning, her face peaceful, beautiful. How easily she transitioned between plotting my death and sharing my bed. I memorized her features not out of sentimentality, but to remember this lesson. In my world, attachment was weakness. A weakness I could no longer afford. At precisely 7 a.m., Amanda kissed me goodbye, told me she loved me, and left for work as usual. The performance was flawless. Had I not heard her midnight call, I would never have suspected the depth of her betrayal. As soon as her car disappeared down the street, I began implementing the contingency plan I had developed years ago, but hoped never to use. Behind the water heater in our basement, I retrieved a waterproof case containing $50,000 in various currencies, 3 passports with different identities, and a secure satellite phone. From the false ceiling in my home office, I recovered a custom Remington 700 sniper rifle, a suppressed Glock 19, and a Benchmade tactical knife. Additional weapons and equipment were hidden throughout the house, accessible only if you knew where to look. I transformed our home into a tactical environment. Furniture was subtly repositioned to create choke points and cover. Ordinary household items became potential weapons. The cleaning chemicals under the kitchen sink could create smoke screens. The garden fertilizer in the garage could be repurposed for rudimentary explosives. I programmed the smart home system to respond to specific voice commands that would kill power to different sections of the house. By noon, I had mapped every possible entry point, created fields of fire, and established fallback positions. I converted our panic room, which Amanda believed was a wine cellar, into a command center. Multiple monitors displayed feeds from hidden cameras covering the entire property. Motion sensors would alert me to any approach. Through encrypted channels, I sent a message to my handler, Marcus. The message was coded but clear to someone trained to read between the lines. Domestic situation. Going dark for 72 hours. No immediate backup needed. Possible compromise of identity ghost. Will contact with details. The response was immediate. Acknowledged. Resources available if requested. Containment team on standby. Good hunting. The agency would wait for my signal. If I survived, I would provide them with actionable intelligence on the Baranov Syndicate. If I did not, they would clean up the mess and hunt down those responsible. Either way, their primary concern was containment. My survival was secondary. At 3:47 p.m., Amanda texted that she would be working late, the final confirmation of what was to come. I replied with casual affection, maintaining our normal patterns. Now it was a waiting game. I prepared myself, mentally shifting from Gerald the husband to the operative I had been trained to be. I reviewed files on known Baranov Syndicate tactics. They preferred overwhelming force, multiple points of entry, and quick, brutal efficiency. They would expect to find an unsuspecting IT consultant, not a trained killer who had anticipated their every move. The psychological preparation for confronting Amanda was more difficult. Part of me still searched for explanations for a scenario where she was coerced or manipulated, but the evidence was irrefutable. Her voice on the recording had been calm, confident, even eager. Whatever her initial motivation, she had become a willing participant in a plot to kill me. At 8:15 p.m., I detected the first anomalies on the security perimeter. Slight disturbances in the motion sensors at the property line. They were establishing positions surrounding the house. Professional patient. These were not common thugs. At 8:32 p.m., thermal imaging showed 3 figures in the wooded area behind our property. 2 more approached from the street, using the neighbor's shrubbery as cover. By 8:50, all 10 were in position. Still no sign of Amanda. She was following instructions, staying clear of the scene. At 8:55 p.m., headlights appeared in the driveway. Amanda had returned earlier than expected. A complication. She entered through the front door, calling my name with practiced casualness. When I did not respond, she moved through the house, presumably checking my location. I intercepted her in the kitchen. She startled, then recovered quickly. "Gerald, you scared me. I thought you might be working in your office." I maintained a neutral expression. "You are home early." Her smile was perfect, betraying nothing. The client dinner ended sooner than expected. "I thought we could watch that movie you have been wanting to see." I nodded, watching her hands. They were steady. No signs of stress or anxiety, despite knowing what was about to happen. "You look beautiful tonight," I said. A flash of something crossed her face. Confusion, perhaps. "Thank you," she replied, moving toward the refrigerator. "Would you like a drink?" At exactly 9 p.m. Her phone vibrated with a text. She glanced at it then toward the front of the house. The slightest tension appeared in her shoulders. The signal. "No need to keep pretending, Amanda," I said quietly. "I know about Victor, I know about tonight." The transformation was immediate. The warm expression vanished, replaced by something cold and calculating. The mask dropped completely. "How long have you known?" she asked, voice flat. "Long enough to prepare," I replied, revealing the Glock at my waistband. Her eyes widened slightly. "You are not who I thought you were. I could say the same about you." The first window shattered in the living room. Right on schedule. The team was making their move. "You should run now, Amanda," I said calmly. "What happens next is not something you want to witness." To my surprise, she laughed. "Poor Gerald. Always underestimating me. I am not just the bait. I am part of the team." She reached into her purse, but I was faster. Years of training do not disappear. I disarmed her efficiently, securing the small pistol she had attempted to retrieve. "You really do not want to be here for this," I repeated. Before she could respond, the front and back doors crashed open simultaneously. The hit team had arrived, and the night erupted into controlled chaos. What followed was not a battle so much as a methodical elimination. They were professionals, yes, but they expected an easy target. They found instead a lethal operative in his prepared territory. The first two entered through the front door in tactical formation. The pressure plate I had installed triggered a blinding flash, disorienting them long enough for me to neutralize both with silent precision. Two more approached from the kitchen. I used the central island as cover, emerging only to deliver precisely placed shots. Amanda attempted to flee during the initial exchange, but I had electronically secured all exits. She retreated to the guest bathroom, barricading herself inside. One problem contained for the moment. The remaining 6 attackers demonstrated greater caution, communicating through hand signals and splitting into pairs to clear the house room by room. I utilized the home automation system, killing the power and activating the emergency generator that powered only my camera feeds. In the sudden darkness, I became the hunter. 2 men ascending the stairs encountered nearly invisible fishing wire stretched at ankle height. Their momentary stumble provided the opening I needed. The third pair discovered the pressure-sensitive tiles in the hallway too late. The fourth pair demonstrated greater skill, nearly cornering me in the master bedroom before I utilized the concealed passage in the closet that Amanda had always believed was just an architectural quirk. Throughout the engagement, I exercised restraint where possible. 3 of the team would survive with non-lethal injuries. Evidence, intelligence, leverage. The agency would appreciate the gift. Victor entered last, as leaders often do. He carried himself with military bearing, scanning rooms with practiced efficiency. From my position in the attic observation point, I studied him through my scope. This man had shared my wife's. Bed had conspired to end my life, had brought violence into the sanctuary I had built. Yet I felt oddly detached. This was simply the conclusion of an operation now. I allowed him to progress deeper into the house past the bodies of his men. His confidence wavered with each discovery. By the time he reached the second floor, doubt had replaced arrogance. I could have eliminated him easily from multiple vantage points, but I wanted a conversation. I emerged from concealment as he entered the master bedroom. He pivoted immediately, weapon raised, but hesitated upon seeing my face. The civilian IT consultant he expected looked remarkably different, holding a combat knife with the calm demeanor of someone comfortable with violence. "You are not Thompson," he said flatly, using the name Amanda knew me by. "Not entirely," I agreed. His eyes narrowed. "Who are you?" "Someone who should have remained a ghost," I replied. "Mikhail Baranov sends his regards." Recognition and fear flashed across his features. "The Istanbul operation. That was you," I neither confirmed nor denied, allowing his mind to complete the connection. Agency procedure. Never admit, never explain. Victor reassessed the situation, realizing he had not hunted a civilian but had instead been lured into a trap. Desperation replaced calculation in his eyes. "We have your wife," he attempted. "She will die unless you let me leave." An amateur play. My wife is locked in your guest bathroom, I informed him, and she ceased being my wife the moment she conspired with you. A noise from the hallway momentarily distracted both of us. Amanda appeared in the doorway, having somehow escaped her improvised prison. She held a decorative letter opener like a weapon, her expression frantic. "Victor," she called. "I told you he was more than he seemed." In that moment of divided attention, Victor made his move, lunging forward with surprising speed. Good but not good enough. The fight was brief, clinical. I had spent decades honing skills he had only read about in training manuals. When it ended, Victor lay unconscious, zip-tied and secured. Another gift for the agency. Amanda watched the encounter with growing horror, realizing the magnitude of her miscalculation. The man she had dismissed as an oblivious husband had just effortlessly disabled a syndicate enforcer. "Who are you?" she whispered, echoing Victor's question. "Someone who loved you," I answered honestly. "Someone who would have given everything to protect you had you only asked." Tears welled in her eyes, whether from fear or regret, I could not tell. "It was never supposed to be like this," she said. "I did not know who you were." "You still do not," I replied. Within 30 minutes, a containment team arrived. No sirens, no marked vehicles. Anonymous men and women in plain clothes who efficiently secured the scene, treated the wounded, and removed all evidence of the night's events. Neighbors would notice nothing unusual by morning. Marcus arrived personally to debrief me. He looked at the captured syndicate members with approval. "Quite a gift," he commented. "Intelligence will be pleased." Amanda sat in the dining room, guarded by 2 operatives. She watched our familiar interaction with growing comprehension. "You are one of them," she stated when I approached her. "All this time, yes," I acknowledged. "Just as you were working for Victor. It seems we both had our secrets." "They recruited me 2 years ago," she admitted. "Victor approached me at a pharmaceutical conference. Charming, attentive. He made me feel special. The affair began casually, but then he revealed his true purpose. The syndicate had traced the Istanbul operation to someone in Virginia. They had narrowed it down to several possible identities. Mine was among them, and you helped them confirm it was me," I concluded. She nodded, tears streaming freely now. "At first, I just reported your movements, your contacts. I told myself it was harmless. Then they asked for access to your computer, your files. Victor convinced me you were involved in something illegal, that you were not who you claimed to be. He was right about that much. When they decided you needed to be eliminated, I tried to back out," she continued. "But by then, I knew too much. I was in too deep. It was you or me. I studied the woman I had loved for 7 years, trying to see past the betrayal to the person I had built a life with. But that person had never existed. Just as the Gerald she married was largely a fiction. You have a choice now," I told her. "Cooperate fully, tell the agency everything you know about the Baranov Syndicate, and you might avoid the worst consequences. Resist, and I cannot help you." "Would you have ever told me the truth?" she asked suddenly. "If none of this had happened, would I ever have known who you really are?" I considered the question carefully. "No," I admitted. "Some secrets cannot be shared, even with those we love. Perhaps especially with them." She nodded slowly, as if finally understanding something fundamental about our relationship. "Neither would I," she whispered. As the containment team prepared to transport her, I felt a strange sense of closure. The life we had built together had been constructed on mutual deception. There was a certain symmetry to its end. I would mourn what we might have had in another world where both of us could have been honest. But in this reality, such connections were luxuries people in my position could not afford. The lesson was painful but necessary. In my world, trust must be earned through truth, not built on convenient fictions. 3 days later, with the safe house cleared and my cover identity compromised, I received new orders. Field operations in Eastern Europe targeting the remnants of the Baranov Syndicate. A return to the shadows where I operated best. The suburban facade had been pleasant while it lasted, but it was never truly me. I sometimes wonder if Amanda ever loved the man she thought I was, or if every moment was calculated deception. I wonder if she knew that by betraying me, she actually freed me to become fully who I was meant to be. These questions have no answers, and perhaps that is for the best. The real lesson was not about betrayal or even about love. It was about authenticity. We cannot build meaningful connections on foundations of lies. I had tried to compartmentalize my life to be two different men. Such division is unsustainable. Integration, honesty with ourselves, if not always with others, is the only path to peace. Have you ever had to confront someone who betrayed your trust? How did you handle it? Let me know in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit the like button and subscribe to hear more experiences from my complicated past. Share this video with someone who appreciates that sometimes the most dangerous predators are hiding in plain sight. Thank you for listening to my story, and remember, true strength comes not from deception but from knowing exactly who you are, even if others never will.